Welcome to Finding Your Voice with SMD, a free monthly virtual vocal workshop. I'm so glad that you're here today. I know a couple of people marked attending that I have not personally met before, which is so exciting. I'm so glad to meet you in this way, even though I can't see you. So if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Sarah Marie Dillard. I'm from a band called Sarah and the Underground. I'm the songwriter, the founder, and the band leader and the singer. And all three of us in the band are private music educators. And so we decided to form a teaching collective called the Underground School of Sound. And that's where you are today. You're in the Underground School of Sound vocal studio. When life is normal, this is where I work with my students. And a lot of singing happens in this room, a lot of songwriting, stage performance, lots of music business training, which is one of my favorite things. And right now, with the COVID season, I'm teaching only virtually to keep myself and my students safe, because singing can project things so much farther than just speaking, and it's pretty difficult to work on singing effectively with a mask on when I need to see your mouth and do things like that. So for that reason, I've set up a classroom in the barn here on our farm, and you'll see photos of that in the event on Facebook, and those were taken by Emily Antonacci, who I believe is attending today as well. Hi Emily, so glad you're here. So if when things warm up this spring, we're going to keep it safe by working outdoors in the barn where there's more open air and a lot more space. But we're virtual for the winter, at least I am for the whole winter, and I'm really glad to be here. You might see my husband Brandon in the background. He's trying to get his Facebook up on my computer so that I can read your comments as they come in, so that we can engage more. And you might also hear some music coming from his direction later on. He's, as I mentioned, he's also a teacher. If you don't know, I'm married to my bass player. So 2 teachers, we get to live in the same house together.
I'm but a shadow.
And we also get to teach in the same house together. So you might hear music coming from his bass studio, which is across the house. Okay. As soon as those comments get up, I'm going to be really excited to see who's here. So please go ahead and check in. Give me a hello, give me a wave if you're watching live right now so that I can see you, so that I can more effectively engage with you personally and just like be glad that I know you're here. Pretty soon we're going to get started with our warm-up. I like today because I didn't have to warm up alone today because we're going to do that together. So that's really fun, and that's coming soon. The song you heard at the beginning of this video is our new release from Sarah and the Underground. It's called The Lions. I hope you enjoyed it. It's meant to inspire courage, and it is available on all streaming platforms under the sun, so I hope you check it out again today. Again, that's called The Lions. How's it going, honey?
Good. Slow but good.
Slow but good. Not the worst answer in the world. Okay. Well, I hope you're all feeling very well today. Comments are almost up, so I can say hello to you personally. Another thing I'd like to hear from you in the comments is if you're learning in a group setting today, whether you're with your kids, your parents, your roommate, your spouse, a buddy that you hang out with on a regular basis, or with your pets or your plants. I'd like to hear what setting you're learning in today, especially if there are kids around. That would be great for me to know so that I can talk to them specifically when I need to. Okay. Ooh, we got it up. Awesome. Hey, it's me.
There she is.
Okay, cool. And we are joining the live video now. Here come your comments. 14 viewers at the moment. Awesome. That's the exact number that marked attending, so I see you are all very punctual. Hello, Stephanie. So glad you're here. Stephanie Theobald is here today, from formerly from the band The Midnight Special, fabulous group in Peoria. We got Mark Proud. Will you mute that for me? We got Mark Proud as well. Thank you so much, honey. Let's give it up for Brandon, our tech support, running the computer to my right here. Everything okay?
Yep. Sumesh.
Oh, is there a spammer in there?
There's a spammer.
Already?
Yeah, don't. That's not us.
Okay, so we're getting spammed. I don't know if you have time to log into my Facebook and delete those. Thank you, honey.
Is that the password?
I don't know if it's correct anymore. If it doesn't log in, it's okay. We'll just work with it. This is the first one of these, as you know, so we're learning a little bit as we go. Hi, Patricia! I'm glad you're here, ready to try to sing along, and there's no better place than when you're alone in your own house doing some chores. Awesome. Yes, thank you. Thank you for not spamming. Let's see. I wanted to say hello to specifically to Mark Proud. If you've heard at all about ranked voting in Illinois, fair voting, ranked voting, Mark Proud is the guy to talk to. Talk to Mark about that. He would love to share with you the things he's working on to make voting in Illinois better reflect the community of people who are actually voting. And let's see who else we got going. Hi, Sumesh! Hello. Sumesh and I just had a lesson. Was that just last night? I think it was. That's crazy. That feels like a year ago. So glad you're back so soon. And Leslie, it's nice to meet you. I don't believe we've met before. Hi, Katie. Hello, hello, hello. I don't see anyone mentioning kids yet, so don't worry, we're keeping it G-rated the whole time, but if kids pop up, just let me know, because I'd like to say hello to them specifically. All right, Sarah, that's enough talking. Let's get to some singing. Before I ever start singing with a student, I want to think about how they're feeling. And I can't know how you're feeling exactly right now unless you'd like to share in the comments, please do. But whether it's stressed out or maybe sleepy or bored or unmotivated, or maybe you're feeling hyper and jittery, restless, sad, lonely, any of those things, anxious, depressed. Let's recognize those feelings now. Take this moment, close your eyes, and bring attention to those feelings. We're not here to judge them, but we're here to acknowledge their presence and acknowledge that they exist within us for a reason. Even if we can't name that reason today, they're here for a reason. And so we're acknowledging their presence, we're recognizing them, we're naming them, and we're welcoming them. That might feel counterintuitive if you're having a negative feeling, but let's try it now. We're welcoming that feeling. We're saying, I see you, I feel you, I'm not ignoring you, I'm receiving your message. And as we receive the message of that feeling, and we feel the feeling, we can begin to process it. And as we process it, we can begin to release it. And that's the best part. So let's continue processing and releasing. And one thing that's going to help us do that better is to bring attention to our breath. So let's do that now. Notice everything you can feel as you inhale and exhale. Feel the airstream cooling your nostrils, the roof of your mouth, maybe your tonsils, the back of your throat. And if you're connected to your body in this moment, maybe you can even feel the air hitting down inside your esophagus. Notice how your abdominal muscles expand and contract as you inhale and exhale. And notice everything else you're feeling as you continue breathing. With every breath, let's breathe deeper, longer, slower, more gently, quieter even. You might hear me breathing very loudly. This is a moment where I want you to do as I say and not as I do. Because the reason I'm breathing so loudly is to help guide us as a unit that is breathing simultaneously. So I should be the only loud breather in this moment. Generally, the quieter your breath, I find, the healthier it to be. Okay. And as we exhale, we're going to imagine the stress of the week leaving on the wave of our breath. Away it goes, whether it's family stress, social stress, work stress, just stress from being alone at home and not being able to get out and do the things you normally do, or maybe financial stress from dealing with this pandemic. Let's imagine it surfing away on the wave of our exhale. Let's make that stress a pro surfer today. Okay, and now we've emptied out that space that was filled up with stress. Let's fill it back up with good things. As you inhale, imagine that every good thing available to you in this moment is coming in on the wave of your breath and filling up the nooks and crannies that we just cleaned out. All the joy, the peace, the hope, the motivation, the fresh air, even the good bacteria that's around you. Imagine that all of it is coming in on the wave of your breath and you are being filled up with only good things all the way to the brim and overflowing. That feels better. Okay, hopefully you're feeling mindful in this moment now, a little more at rest if you weren't feeling restful before. And if you aren't standing yet, and if you feel comfortable doing so, let's stand together now. While I'm standing, I'm going to check the comments over here. Katie, I missed that. Am I reading that right? Katie, I missed your face too. So glad you're here. How the dishes going, Patricia? Keep us updated. Oh, thanks, Chris. Looking good on your TV. I don't know where my cats are. That's probably bad news. I don't know where they are. Bad things might be happening. Okay. And we're continuing with our deep breathing as we're standing. And I want you to look down at your feet for a moment. See that they're shoulder width apart. One toe a little bit in front of the other. This just gives us a little more stability. And we want loose knees, loosey-goosey knees, and a very tall spine. Good notes, Sarah. Stand up. Very tall spine, but loose limbs. So strength here, relaxation everywhere else. And loose knees especially, so we don't pass out. It's always a good move. Okay, bringing attention back to our breath. And as we continue breathing deeply, we're going to stretch our necks. The first portion of our warm-up was all about releasing stress. That theme is going to continue. You'll notice that theme continuing. And in this portion, we're doing some stretches, and these stretches are all about releasing tension from our physical instrument and all the components that make it up. We often think of singing coming from only here, but it's happening here, it's happening all through here, and down in here as well. So we want to work out all of those areas. Continuing to stretch our necks. Oof. I got a crack. And if you notice a place that's a little more tense than the others, give it some extra attention. Keep breathing. Okay. Back up top, tall spine, loose limbs. Yeah, I'm going to adjust based on what I'm seeing here. That's better. Okay. Now we're going to stretch our shoulders. I'm sure you remember in gym class doing like the shoulder rolls, the shrugging. We're going to do that, but we're going to do it with more purpose today and get an actual stretch out of it. So every time you change the ankle by a single degree, I want you to stretch in to that angle. If those words made any sense. So every time we change the angle of our shoulders, we're getting a deep stretch all the way up towards our ears, behind our ears, back in our shoulder blades, down in our ribs, forward, which also stretches the shoulder blades, and back up to the ears. Good. Keep going. Keep breathing deeply. And we're reversing. And relax. Okay. Lastly, we're going to stretch our spine, our abdominal area. Keep your hips facing forward. And maybe use your hands to walk your shoulders around to one side. And you should feel a stretch kind of all the way through the twist of your spine here. Very easy to stop breathing, so keep it going. I know I tend to hold my breath through this. Feel that tension continue to release and dissipate. Okay, and now we're just swinging around a tiny bit. Whatever feels right in this moment, get it out. Especially if there are kids learning with you right now and they've got some extra energy. Let them dance around, jump around, bounce around a little bit. Get that all out so they can better focus on their instrument. Okay. Now that we've stretched our bodies, we're going to move on to our face specifically. We're going to make every face we can make, and since you're alone, you've got no reason to feel self-conscious about it. So let's go. If I can do it on screen for all of you, you can do it alone with no one watching. Making every face we can make. As wide as you can go. As scrunched up as you can go. Eyebrows up. Again and again. Can you do one at a time? If you say no, that's okay, but you have to try. That's the rule. I was the weird little teen or preteen that spent time in my room practicing this in the mirror. To what end? I have no idea, but doing it today serves me well. And let's puff out our cheeks. Suck them in. Again. Jaw up and down. Side to side. Front to back. And we're going to clean our teeth. We're going to clean only the front in a circular motion with our tongue. We're going to go 3 times, one direction, 3 times in the other, come back 1 time, and come back 1 time. And you'll notice, as soon as you're done, you'll feel all the tension dissipate from your tongue. I love that feeling. If you have any questions as we continue, just type them into the comments because I'd love to get as specific as we can today, even though we're not doing this on a personalized basis. We can get as personal as possible. Hi, Logan. It's okay if you're not totally with us, but glad you're present with Katie. Hi, Nick. Yes, please come back later. And if you're not able to stay for the whole thing, this is going to be saved and posted after the fact. So if you can't finish this with me now, you're more than welcome to save it for later in the day or another day. We just cleaned our teeth to stretch out our tongue. Now we're going to finish with a jaw massage. Again, this is all about getting the tension out of our instrument, and our instrument relies so much on a loose, free jaw. And we focus on the jaw a lot because that's where humans tend to hold so much of their tension in their body. The jaw and the pelvic floor. And now you know. And it tends to be that if you have tension built up in one area, you have it built up in the other. May not always be true, but it tends to be. Okay, again, now all that tension, and we're moving back behind the jaw where it connects to the ears. Continue breathing deeply. Okay, and relax with your hands at your side. I believe that concludes our physical stretches. We're going to continue with breathing exercises now. And the one we're going to do for today's workshop is very, very simple, very, very doable. You can do this, and it might almost seem too easy, but there's a way to make it challenging so that it benefits you, and we're going to talk about that. What we're going to do right now is just hissing. And I'm going to demonstrate for you. I'm going to take one deep breath, just one, y'all. We're not breathing in between any of these sounds. One deep breath. I'm going to hiss for as long as I can physically hold it. At the end, I'm going to feel tension here, I'm gonna feel like an alert from my brain, like, Sarah, you're gonna pass out if you don't breathe soon. And it's gonna make me want to gasp for air. Instead of gasping and crumbling, I'm gonna stand tall and I'm going to end my hiss and inhale in a very slow, quiet, relaxed way. Because if I don't do that, all the tension we just spent all that time getting out of our instrument is gonna come right back in. We just don't have time for that. We don't have time. So instead of crumbling and gasping, we're gonna stand tall and relax as we inhale. And here's your demonstration. And I'm gonna turn to the side so I don't blow out the microphone on the phone here. Believe you me, I really wanted to gasp. So there will be a challenge in here at first, and you can expect that feeling. Let's try it together. We're holding that hiss as long as we can. It's okay if you don't go as long as me. It's okay if you go longer than me. Maybe your diaphragm is bigger, and maybe it's already stronger than mine, and that's awesome. But let's see how long each of us can go. Questions about this, just pop them into the comments because I'm continuing checking them. Ready to answer any questions that you have. Let's do that again. Good job. If you are not feeling tension here at the end, or like you're having to work hard to keep going, you are not holding your hiss long enough. So really challenge yourself and shoot for that tension, aim for that tension, look for it, and if you can't find it, hold that hiss longer because you've probably got more air left to give. The reason you need to push yourself to that extreme is because that's what's going to strengthen your diaphragm, which is the support for your entire instrument. If your diaphragm is stronger, everything else will become stronger because of that. And this is an exercise that will strengthen your diaphragm if you do it, right? That's the catch, you actually have to do it. And it seems so easy, and it is so easy, and it's so simple that it almost tricks us out of thinking that we need to do it. Like, why would I need to work on that? But this is something that's going to physically build the strength of your instrument and allow you to sing longer notes, higher notes, louder notes with more comfort, more strength, more confidence, and you're also going to physically feel better when you're singing, which is pretty cool. So please challenge yourself and be honest with yourself when you haven't been challenging yourself. Okay, we're going to modify this exercise just a little bit for your next exercise. We're going to continue hissing, but we're going to do some staccato hisses. I know the musicians here have heard that word before, staccato. If you've never heard it before, it means short and separated. So instead of la, 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 that's staccato, short and separated. We're going to do that to our hisses. The temptation here is to breathe in between each burst of hiss. That's what we don't want to do. That leads to hyperventilation, and that is not a part of your vocal warm-up. So please still go off of one breath. Hold it as long as you can.
We have a question on the exercise.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, a few comments just came in. Okay. I just blew spit bubbles. That's okay, Patricia. Blow those spit bubbles. You're all alone. Stephanie, is the inhale through nose or mouth after hissing? I'm going to say neither is wrong, but there is a benefit to the nose. What is that benefit? I think one thing I've noticed about the difference between, and this is just me, so if my voice teachers are watching and I'm not saying the right thing, please forgive me. But this is what I've noticed from my experience with my own breathing and with teaching others to breathe, is that a benefit of breathing through the nose is that you have to use your diaphragm, whereas sometimes if we breathe through the mouth, it can be kind of all up here in the shoulders and chest. Whereas it's harder to breathe through the shoulders and chest when you're using your nose, and I think that has to do with the like full circle connection of your breathing mechanism. And maybe I'll have one of my teachers as a guest sometime, and we can like pick their brain. That'd be so cool. Ideas for the future, awesome. But that's a really good question. So I'm gonna say either. If you're having trouble accessing your diaphragm though, go with the nose. But it is really good to learn to gently and healthfully breathe through both your nose and your mouth. So neither is wrong. Really good question though, Stephanie. Thank you for that. And I just want to give a shout out to the professional singers who are with us today. Thank you for being here. I know that you're not here because you need to learn how to sing, but you're here to hang out and to get in touch with your instrument today and spend time with me and to maybe get in touch with the other people who are attending. And I'm really glad you're here, and I so appreciate the compliment of your presence with us today. So thank you for that. Okay, great tips from Jim. Thank you, Jim. Glad you're here. We never got our lesson done, so we're doing it today. Awesome, cool. All right, keep sending in those questions if you have them. Love this. This is so fun. Okay. We were hissing, staccato hisses. And here's your demonstration. Again, we're going off of one breath, holding it as long as we can. For our staccato hiss. Very, very short, very separated. It's going to feel like a burst of air. And if you put your hand on your diaphragm, which is always helpful, you will feel it jumping within you. And that's exactly what we want to be feeling. It means it's awake and it's active and it's getting in on the work that we're going to do with our song today. If you're having trouble getting your diaphragm jumping, I want you to switch from a hiss to a shush, a shush sound. Because sometimes we can trick ourselves out of the benefits of this exercise by creating the hiss with our tongue and teeth instead of with our breath, but we can't quite do that with a shush in the same way. So if you're having trouble feeling your diaphragm jumping, we're going to switch to a shush, but let's try a hiss first and see how it goes for you. Hand on your diaphragm. Diaphragm was not really active and you weren't getting anything going behind your hand, let's switch to a shush now to see if that helps you, and I think it will. Here we go. Good job. You'll notice my hisses and my shushes are really big bursts of air, because that's what I want for my diaphragm, is lots of big activity right now during this warm-up. And if you're like me and people told you all through your childhood and adolescence to suck in your stomach, might not be going that well for you today. So I encourage you, if that's the case, or if for any other reason you don't feel comfortable with letting your abdominal muscles out like this, it's totally understandable, and it's totally human, and it's also totally unlearnable, and I'm evidence of that. So when we're breathing deeply, we want this kind of pregnant feeling, like we just had 3 Thanksgiving dinners. And if you have to go to multiple families' homes on Thanksgiving, you know exactly what that feels like. So this is the feeling we want. And if we're used to keeping everything tucked in like this, it's going to be hard to breathe in the full, deep way that our instrument really, really wants us to. So let's try it one more time. Deep breathing, practicing letting those abdominal muscles expand and contract to support your diaphragm. And let's do a staccato shush or hiss, whichever one you found worked better for you. Good job. And again, at the end, if you are not feeling tension here and you're not feeling the need to gasp or any kind of physical stress, you're not holding this exercise long enough. So be honest with yourself and then increase your challenge a little bit, and that is how you will increase the strength of your instrument. Okay, that's our breathing exercise for today, and we're going to move on to our vocal cords. How could we have forgotten about them for so long? Well, it's very important to do all these things, but it is time. It is time to start working out our vocal cords today, and we're going to do that with a simple exercise, a pretty easy one, and a very silly one. And my students know what's coming, my bandmates know what's coming because they hear me warm up all the time, and of course my teachers know what's coming. But if you've never done this with me before, I want you to mentally prepare yourself to embrace the silliness, because this is kind of a silly exercise. The longer you do it, the more often you do it, the less silly it will feel, but for the first time it will feel quite silly, and that's okay. We're going to embrace that today. It's okay if it makes you smile or laugh. That's great. But this is a very beneficial exercise. I do it because it works wonders for your voice. So let's begin now. You can call these sighs. Some people prefer to call them sirens. They remind them of like the European style sirens, which is really true. But either way, I'm gonna call them sighs today. And to get ready for this exercise, we're going to sigh. Let's sigh like it's been a really long day. Just like that. Big sigh. And now we're going to sigh like it's been a really long week. Maybe it has. Now it's been a really long month. Gently, that was a little too rough. Sarah, I'm going to take a sip of water. Gently as we're sighing. Now we're going to sigh like it's been a long year. And girl has it. So let's do that together. And now we're sighing like it's been a long life and we just can't take anymore. And that leads us to our full-blown musical sigh or siren. And here's your demonstration. Hear me on Brandon's computer in the other room. So that might feel like intimidating, even though it's silly. It might still feel intimidating because it might be a sound you've never made before. You might think, Sarah, I can't start that high. That's okay. You don't have to start that high today, but this exercise will help you go higher and higher, which is one reason we're doing it. So all I need from you is a little bit of try. Please try with me. It's okay if it doesn't go well the first time because it is going to get better. So let's sigh again from the top of our voice all the way to the bottom. And what's going to help us come out on the top without any strain or tension or pain is some H. We're going to start this sigh with a lot of breath. So you're going to hear H before you ever hear a note coming out of your vocal cords. Let's try it together. Good job. Let's do it again. Lots of H at the top. Very nice. I'm going to check to see if we have any questions coming in about this. Katie's having a good time. Love it. The screen is a little blurry and I can't tell if that's our internet out here, but I just want to make sure that my lens is clean, just to be safe. Awesome. All right, we're going to continue our sighing with a couple things that are going to help you do it more comfortably. This time, in addition to having H at the beginning, we're also going to start with our eyebrows way up in the air. That is going to lift our soft palate inside, which increases our space inside our mouth, which helps us reach higher notes at steadier pitches. And we'll talk more about that, but that's a little introduction into that idea if it's a new idea to you. So let's do this again. We're sighing from top to bottom, lots of H, eyebrows up. Good job. And you'll notice that I end with lots of H as well because I want to protect my low voice as much as I protect my high voice. The other thing that's going to help us sigh more comfortably today is increasing the space in our mouth. To do that, we're not going to add tension. That's not the kind of space we want because tension is not going to help us. Tension never helps when it comes to singing, or at least not in this area. But we are going to open our space by simply releasing our jaw, simply unhinging it, almost like you fell asleep in the car. When I fall asleep in the car, my mouth falls open, and my brother sticks his thumb in my mouth, and other terrible things. Man, childhood still feels very much in the now for me. That's something I should work on. Okay, so we've fallen asleep in the car. Our mouth is so gently and relaxed, hanging open. Our eyebrows are up, and we're starting with lots of H. Here we go. And let's do it again while I go to the side and read the new comments that are coming in. Oh yeah. Jim, I didn't know you took voice lessons in college. I want to hear about that. Any other comments you want to leave about that experience in this event, please do so, because it's always fun to hear about and read about. Cool. One more sigh, just for good measure. exercise is the same thing, but in reverse directions. So we're going to warm up our lower register by beginning at our low end instead of our high end. Lots of H, and again, lots of space. Here's how it's going to sound. This is your demonstration. Just like that. More comments coming in, just checking in on them. Yes, it's very Dory. Oh, I want to watch Finding Dory soon. I just recorded that on our DVR. Yeah, our cats tend to leave the room during this exercise as well. Poor things. All right, we're sighing from low to high again. And we're starting with lots of H and lots of space. It is an extremely human phenomenon. I don't know, I can't explain why it happens, but I know it happens. Humans, when we want to sing in our lower register, we tend to dip our chin down, tuck it into our chest, and to close up our mouth just as closed as possible. These are the opposite of what's going to help us use our lower register. So this is something we've been doing our whole lives that we need to unlearn and replace with the new muscle memory of staying tall and letting our jaw stay open. So instead of you can hear what that does to my voice. Instead of that, we're staying tall, letting our jaw stay open. Ooh, that triggered my cat reflex. And take another sip of water. Staying hydrated, very, very important. Okay. Excuse me. We're sighing again, from low to high. Tall head, open, relaxed jaw, and let's focus on those things to begin with. Lots of H. Good job. Let's do it again. And you'll notice as I go higher, I raise my eyebrows again. This is something I want for you as a singer, to let your eyebrows eventually become attached to your voice. So that as your pitch becomes higher, so do your eyebrows, and eventually you won't have to think about it anymore because the muscle memory will have become built in. The bad news is that can only ever come through repetition of exercises on a regular basis, consistently, for an extended amount of time. So it's not easy in the sense that you can flip a switch, but it is easy in the sense that it is doable, and if you put in 5 minutes a day, you will see your voice transform, and that is an exciting thing. And it would feel very special for me to be a part of that. So please give that gift to me. Okay, let's do it one more time. We're sighing low to high, and we're adding the extra component of raising our eyebrows as we go higher. Good job. And what we want at both the low and the high end is for a voice to simply disappear. That is how a voice should end. Every human voice has to end somewhere. So there's no point in feeling bad about, oh, my voice didn't go higher or lower. I understand that feeling, and I did not mean to use that voice to make that be. But I encourage you not to feel bad about that. Our voices have to end somewhere because we're freaking human. But it's how they end that matters. And if they can end without pain, without strain, without tension, and simply disappear, that means we're singing in a healthy way and treating our highest and lowest parts of our range in a healthy way. That's what I want for you. Awesome. Take a breather. We've done several things. I've been forgetting to encourage you to take notes on these things, so I tell you what, I will go back into the event after the fact and just put in some points reminding you of what exercises we did today. Oh, the video will be saved. I'll do both just in case, because I do want you to get the most out of this that you can. Oh, hi, honey. Oh, darling. Hello, world. Meet JJ. He's named after his father, Bad Leroy Brand, which doesn't make any sense at all, but we first called him Leroy Jr. and then just Junior, and then just JJ. And now he's JJ and I love him so